Welcome to Trial by Wine. We take a closer look at crimes that highlight how fascinating humans can be. Schmidty, Swanee and Clarkey visit crimes and run them through their jury of three, debating both sides of the case to agree an appropriate, if totally fictitious, sentence. Please be advised, Trial by Wine may include explicit or disturbing content and will include drunken rambling. Listener discretion is advised. All right. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello, lovelies. How are we?
Very well, thank you.
Very well.
You're looking very well, I must say.
This is one of those occasions where we're doing a back-to-back. So we've had nearly 20-minute break. Anything interesting happen in that time?
I cooked two toasties.
I had some birthday
I had a
cake
wee.
and I've cracked open a Diet Coke. So I'll actually
Okay.
And we've moved to another wine.
And for our listeners through that break, we are now 3 hours into pre-gaming. So
Yeah, so get ready for this one. Yeah.
brace yourselves.
I was just saying that I'm amazingly tidy since.
You are, both of you. All
Yeah,
three
well,
of you.
I thought I
All
was,
things
and then,
considered.
but I have had 5 bottles of mango chutney. I'm on my 6th now.
Really?
But as it was a 3-hour show, so that's averaging less than one standard drink an hour. So I'm okay. Or a half hour actually. Oh, can't do the math. Hey. All right. So, given that we don't have much news, I'm Schmidty.
I'm Swanee. And you're got your mic
On mute.
Yeah.
I'm Schmidty.
I'm Swanee.
And I'm Clarkey. And together we are
Trial
by Wine.
Okay. And what are we drinking?
Go on, Swanee. Come on, please.
she's
Could
gone
you?
from the water to the
I've
Coke Zero.
I've cracked open. That sounds nice. I've cracked open Coke Zero.
Excellent.
And Wooey and Clarkey are drinking a Serafino rosé from the McLaren Vale.
Yeah, so there's a story. We've got some friends coming over tomorrow to have drinks and spa.
Are you a bit
So-
emotional about it?
No, I'm about to cough
I know.
again. I know, it's terrible.
It's catching me in the throat.
For our listeners, whenever I start to
I've got some friends coming over.
it's because I'm about to barf up a lung. So I went to Dan Murphy's and I did a bit of rosé shopping and we bought some bird in hand rosé, which we like. It's a good drop. We bought some, I was doing the shopping. I bought some Kylie rosé, which is always it's always grossed me out because I've thought, I like Kylie as an artist, but if I look at a rosé and I overlay Kylie with that, I feel like it's just going to be super sweet Moscato kind of.
Spinning around,
Gross.
move out of my way.
Have you had it? Have you tried it yet?
No.
I asked because I feel exactly the same way about that. However, I think she's doing great business on it, and I wonder if it's just because of who she is or because it must be a decent drop. So I will be very intrigued to hear what.
Yeah, I read some very different reviews because, of course, Dan Murphy's Googling, and some of them were saying, it's a really nice drop. If you like French rosé, it's a very traditional French rosé, and it's good. And other people were saying, this will make you sick.
It's a load of old shit.
Yeah, so anyway, exactly that. Wow.
What a liberty.
Oh, shit.
Well, when you finish the McLaren Vale you're on now, maybe you could crack open one and give us
because we need another
a
one.
review. Yeah, well, why not? It's Friday night. What are you going to do with the morning?
Well, because
That's right. You got friends coming over, and you got
We're going to back it up.
Do you see our problem?
I do. It's a dilemma.
Anyway, so this one is the McLaren Vale Rosé 2022 Serafino Sorrento.
Sounds
nice.
nice.
And it bangs on about the town of Sorrento, blah, 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 being much like McLaren Vale.
Is it? I wouldn't think so, but sure.
It's the seaside town with mild climate. That's what they're saying.
South of McLaren Vale was inland, is it?
I thought it was too, but I'm wrong, obviously.
It's fairly close to the ocean.
Is it? I've never been there, so I wouldn't know. But
Serafino Rosé is sourced from our estate-grown vineyards in McLaren Vale. This wine is a fruit-driven style with strawberry and cream flavours that will leave you feeling refreshed. Enjoy. I can promise you.
I doubt it. I'll make you feel pissed is what will leave you.
I'm looking at a map of
You're not going to feel
McLaren Vale.
refreshed
It is
after that.
not on the beach. What a lot of
No, it's
shit.
not on the beach. It's close by, though. It's not too far.
Ish. Yeah, all right. Okay. Yeah.
But my point is that I've just done 3 hours of podcasting and drinking, and most of it, or not most of it, but we've drunk most of this bottle. I don't feel refreshed. I just feel pissed.
There's no way that was going to make you feel refreshed at this point.
Correct. There's no getting refreshment from a bottle of rosé.
All right. Well, so we are doing back-to-backs, and I'm doing 2 stories in a row. So this is a non-violent case, and therefore I expect that, Swanee, you got to keep your headset on the whole time.
Oh, I would hope so
Because
too.
her latest thing is to take the headset off whenever something really gross is happening. But it's sort of following the same theme of the last episode around toxic love.
Okay.
So a while back, I came across a story of a woman in Thailand who fell victim to an online scammer in a big, big way.
Was her name Ting Tong Macadang Dang?
Oh, God. No, it wasn't.
What the hell was
I'm
that?
hoping
Ting
to add
Tong
Little
Macadang
Britain.
Dang is Green Goddess from Little Britain,
Okay.
who in some ways was a scammer herself, but I just wondered whether then she became victim to an online scammer.
No.
Ting
And
Tong,
when I-
Ting Tong, not
Stop
from. No, hang on. Ting
Oh my
Tong from
God.
Tu Ting, because she was from
From
Tu Ting
Tu Ting.
in the
From
end.
Tooting. Right.
Oh my God, I've totally forgotten about that character.
No, I love
Really?
Ting Tong.
Yes, now you've reminded me. The little
Okay.
Google
Oh, goodness.
Green Goddess Little Britain.
Little Britain.
Okay.
There we go. Ting Tong Little Britain. Oh, yeah.
All right, enough of your inappropriate cultural misappropriation. So anyway,
Why
this
is that inappropriate? I'm just commenting on,
appropriating English comedy. That's right.
Dudley and Ting Tong. Oh my God.
you know,
That's it.
We do it in almost every episode. We appropriate English comedies very regularly.
They've had
I
to
think we already
apologise
did a
for
little bit.
practically everything that they've done on Little Britain.
I'm not surprised. It was so
Because at the
inappropriate.
time,
Have
it
they
was
really?
the most popular. Do you remember we used to go, because it was before we were watching
It was
things on
disgusting, but
the
funny.
internet or whatever else. So it was like you go home.
disgusting.
It
Everyone
was
loved
disgusting
it.
at the time. Yeah.
We were late
I'm sorry.
adopters.
I'm
Bitty.
sorry, but bitty. Yeah. If you
Oh,
don't think that
bitty.
bitty is
Bitty.
not-
Bitty
And
was
what about the
definitely
big? What about the
disgusting.
big lady
Vomit
with the
in
big
your mouth.
saggy boobs? Who was that one? The big
Oh,
black
that-
lady.
that-
Only
that-
Bubbles, everybody does.
Bubbles.
Or there's Bubbles Severe, and there was
Desiree.
Desiree. Yes,
Turn it-
sorry.
turn it
And finally, I
down
get
a
to
bit.
marry
We need
the
to set our
woman.
gay down.
Oh, turn our
that
game
was,
down.
That was very loud.
Very excited.
Sorry, I got
I
excited.
know, we got excited.
Bubbles
Oh my
to
God.
be nearly
Wouldn't
broke
that be
my
more the
eardrums.
alcohol?
It might
So
be. Just
wrong.
check your game.
Check your
Okay.
gay.
Yeah, I know I'm gay.
Gain. Gloria Gaynor. Check your Gloria Gaynor.
Macadang dang, you're right. Oh God.
Okay. All right. So anyway, moving right along. This all led me, so going back to what I was saying, is around this not Ting Tong Macadame, whatever her name was, a Thai woman who fell victim to an online scammer. And it led me to look around the web for stories related to romance scams. And tragically, there are a lot. Like Clarkie's Cruise Crimes Volume 1 to 4, I could almost do the same for this, but I don't know if it's that exciting. But at least
go
no
on,
one
do
died.
it. Do it.
Not tonight, but maybe. But at least no one died is the main thing. So, as I said, I've taken pretty much the articles, right? So I haven't bothered to rewrite them because I think they tell these stories in a very, very well documented fashion. So, first story taken from the abc.net.au. Oh, I'm sorry. The pronunciation of this woman's name, I know I'm going to butcher it. I'm sorry about that. Sadly, when Chamanan Fetapuri,
What do you mean? You nailed it.
I think that's how you say it. Chamanan Fetapuri, a CFO working for a multinational company, received a sweet salutation via LinkedIn from a US Army doctor. She would never have guessed that this was the start of a romance scam that led to $250 million being stolen and a 20-year jail term.
Oh no, because she's a CFO, she's got access to a bit of dosh, has she?
Mm-hmm. Chamanan was a busy chief financial officer and had very little time for love. At the age of 50, she wasn't really entertaining any romantic thoughts, but then she received a note from Dr. Andrew Chang. Chang, professing to be a doctor working in Afghanistan, reached out to her on LinkedIn. Unbeknownst to Chamanan, the profile was fake.
Is that Chang from the family Changity Chang Chabob?
Who could be?
Different
It's their
Chang?
first name, Ramalama Lama.
Shibby-dibby-dibby-dibby-hibbity-wop-de-wop.
Chamanan Fell for the ruse, though, as she was lonely and had no
This is
other
literally a Grease
overtures.
song, this story, isn't it? Chama lama 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 dibbity bop doo up.
Do up to wada wada, dibbity boom to boom. Chang chang, changdy chang shibab, dip to dip to dip, do up to do up.
Wop baba loo bob.
Boogity 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 boogity, shibbity wop
Boogity, boogity,
shwab,
boogity.
shamalama lama lama. Something a ding a ding, a wop baba loo bop, a wop
A
bam
wop bamboo
boom.
way. We go together like.
Chamanam, feta fet papuri. Anyway, sorry.
I think you were
We
all
do-
over it.
We digress. The scammer claimed he was a doctor posted in Afghanistan. His wife had passed away a long time ago. He had one daughter, like 6 or 7 years old. This is a quote, he came from a wealthy family and he would like to retire in Thailand after he finishes his contract in Afghanistan, Lieutenant Colonel Korkiat said. She was a quiet person. The main focus for her work was work, 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 and work, he said.
It sounds like a Nigerian scammer to me.
Ooh, well. She was a quiet person. The main focus for her was work, work, and work. Sorry, that was me being a little bit misreading from Too Many Chutneys. She didn't
How
have a
many
big
is
social
too
life.
many?
Turns out 5.5. She didn't have a big social life, and she said she had never had a boyfriend or a serious relationship before. After a few exchanges through LinkedIn, Dr. Andy and Chamanan, Chamalamalama, da-ding-a-da-ding-a-ding,
So wrong. You're
It's
going to
your
get in
fault.
trouble.
was soon messaging back and forth on WhatsApp every night for hours. So Dr. Andy said he couldn't speak on the phone or video because he was either too busy or the internet quality was terrible in Afghanistan.
What a load of old shit.
She was not put off by those excuses. She 100% thought she had found true love, Lieutenant Colonel Korkiat said. For the whole case, we extracted more than 50,000 WhatsApp messages.
What? In how long?
I'm not sure.
It's not
Jodie,
the
I don't know,
100 emails a day.
I-
82,000
I say Jodie
emails over
and,
18 months, yeah.
Jodie and Trav had it all over them.
Careful, Carla. Clarky wants to do math.
Yeah,
A WhatsApp
hang on.
message could be like, okay, like if it depends on what you're calling a WhatsApp message. Like if it's a whole exchange or if it's like each
Oh, yeah,
reply.
response.
Right?
Also, it could be a wop bobbaluba, a wop
A
bamboo.
what bam boom. That's right.
Or
yeah.
it could just be a wop bobbaluba, and the other one coming back could be a wop bamboo.
So there's two messages.
Yeah, that's
now.
right. That's right. Yeah. So about 2 months into their online relationship, the scammer asked Chamalamalan for help finding a house in
She
China.
also sounds like a scammer with that name.
Sorry, Chamanan, for help finding a house in Thailand. Dr. Andy told her he'd like to transfer an inheritance from his late father worth 58 million US. Sure.
What?
You get a pretty good house in Thailand for that, I think.
Well, he only wanted to use some of the money to buy a luxury
course.
home
Yeah.
for him and himself, Chamanan, to move into. She found them a home. So poor thing, she went out of her way to find them a home.
Yeah.
But when it came to put the deposit down, Dr. Andy said he was having trouble transferring the money out of a Swiss bank account. So he asked her if she
And
could
could
pay
she
the
send
deposit.
him some money?
Can you pay the deposit and I'll pay you back?
Here we go.
At this stage, Chamanan was a little suspicious, but her concerns were allayed when the scammer arranged to have his father's death certificate sent to her from England where he died. So why is the money in a Swiss bank account? Anyway,
Yeah.
she's
Nothing
a CFO.
Nothing to be worried
Just
about
saying.
so far. Yeah.
Because
It
if
was-
you're very rich, you have money in a Swiss bank account.
Also,
and
Love is Blind.
If you're talking about $58 million, you might have it in a Swiss bank account.
It was a fake document, but it came from England, so she was like, wow, she wouldn't, this is again a quote, she wouldn't know what a real one looked like. It looked real and it was posted from the UK, from our friend Lieutenant Colonel Korkiat. Having put Chamanan's fears at ease, the scammer moved on to the next stage of his plan.
So
What's
she did
that-
pay the money for the deposit. Yes.
Yeah, WhatsApp messages between the pair revealed the scammer told her he needed more money to pay for other expenses relating to transferring his large inheritance to Thailand.
Ugh.
She said she didn't have any money left after paying for the house deposit, no surprise. So he convinced her to borrow the money from her company, Essilor Manufacturing, Thailand. At first Shamalan twist. At first Chamanan refused, telling Dr. Andy, we shouldn't do that, I cannot do that. But finally he convinced her because he said, come on, I love you. And when the money from the inheritance comes to Thailand,
You won't
We
have to
can-
work.
yeah, we can pay it back. No, we can pay it back and nobody will be any the wiser because you're the CFO for the company. She understood it was a bad thing to do and she really hesitated. But love is blind, quote unquote. He was really convincing.
Whatever.
Over the next 3 months, Chamanan used fake invoices and false accounting entries to make 251 transfers to 112 bank accounts in 17 countries.
That's a bit stupid.
No.
Over what period of time?
3 months.
And how would he have justified that? That's silly. That's gone from being in love to being a fool.
And she's a CFO.
She's not clever.
No, something changed there.
That's her job,
That's just that's
mate.
I don't have much. There's so many. So like there's a big one or whatever else. I have no sympathy for her.
What year are we in again?
Stupid.
Sorry.
You people are harsh.
We are harsh. I was with her to start with. I thought it was sweet.
What year are we in?
I know when I read this story it was 2022, so
Oh my
Oh my
god.
God.
it's not it's like 2018 maybe. It's not it's
Still,
recently.
a CFO to be falling victim of scams. Come on, mate. She knew everything was wrong.
Yeah.
He forced her to believe, and when she would think this doesn't make sense, love would come and sweet words would come to convince her. This is a quote again from
There's
our
a lot of
Lieutenant
cum
Colonel.
in that sentence.
The scammer also started involving other people in the con. At one point, a friend of the so-called army doctor messaged Chamanan to say Dr. Andy had a heart attack in Afghanistan and needed money for treatment. Another associate sent a bank account link where she could log on and see all the money she had sent, but police later discovered it was a fake website with just one letter in the web address different to that of the real bank. Chamanan was also convinced to fly to Malaysia twice to meet a lawyer handling Dr. Andy's affairs. On the first occasion, the lawyer took her to a fake office. What's a fake office? It was made of cardboard. Then to a room which is not an office, where there was a pile of cash said to be the doctor's inheritance. They brought her upstairs. Then she saw a big suitcase and there were billions of baht, all in US currency, which makes no sense.
Billions of baht in US currency.
Yeah, and she was like, wow, that's real
Carla,
money.
you do the math on that.
They gave her a $100 bill saying, you can check it, it's a real one, and she kept it, but we believe the rest were probably fake. You reckon?
Oh God.
No
Oh,
way.
duh.
Chamanan went back home and continued to transfer the money to various bank accounts, unaware that her employer was becoming suspicious. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, here we go.
Chamanan had been transferring money out of the Essilor Manufacturing Thailand's accounts for about 4 months when the company discovered fraudulent fund transfers exceeding $250 million.
Not
No.
baht.
US?
Which?
Dollars.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of money.
US or
US,
Aussie dollars?
US.
US dollars.
So I get onto it, but Essilor was an optical lens manufacturer whose predominant customer is Ray-Ban.
All right. I was going to say they must have been big to have that kind of money for her to be able to access.
The company, which makes optical lenses, mostly for Ray-Ban, hired private investigators to track down the funds, and Chamanan was eventually confronted with pages and pages of evidence. When she couldn't explain the transactions, she confessed to the theft, prompting the company to take the case to the police. At the time, we believe she was probably one of the gang, our Lieutenant Colonel Corkiat said. But he added that after police did some more digging, because they actually did their job, and looked into every angle, they found that while she had committed a crime, she was also a victim. She didn't know anything about the scammers at all. I cannot say Miss Chamanan is innocent. I mean, she committed crimes 100%. But at the same time, we have to understand the victim here is also the criminal.
Who's
This
saying
is
this?
the quote from
Right.
the Lieutenant Colonel. Romance scammers are very skilled at exploiting people's weaknesses. These criminals study their victims, they work hard, they are educated, they understand social media, they have created a good template for messages, they know technology, and they understand how to transfer money to other countries. Anyone can be a victim, the scammers are really good. When Chamanan was first interviewed by police, she didn't believe that her 6-month relationship with Dr. Andy was a lie. She cried a lot, her whole world was breaking down. I explained to her step by step how this was the modus operandi of a romance scam case, but she didn't believe it. We had to say it for many days. The detective added that when he took her through all the transactions, she was stunned at what she'd done. She cooperated fully with the police as they tried to then identify the network of scammers who conned her. After looking through all the WhatsApp messages, identifying the owners of the bank accounts she sent money to, and then looking at those account holders' social media accounts, police began to close in on the scammers. 22 of the suspected network of 30 are now behind bars.
Hmm.
Detectives were able to trace the scam back to Nigeria, but found, there you go, Clarky,
Hey, no way.
but found it also had people working in several countries, including Thailand, Malaysia, England, the United States, and Australia.
Aussies, they are dodgy as.
She was charged with 251 counts of theft from an employer and faced up to 4 years in jail for each offence. 251 counts, 4 years of jail for each offence.
That's only 1,000 years. She'll be right.
Since she was also a victim of crime and had cooperated with the investigation, a judge sentenced her to only 2 years per offence.
Oh, 500. She's right.
It added up to 502 years in jail. But Chamanam will serve a maximum term of 20 years because she will serve some of the sentences concurrently.
Oh,
She didn't kill anyone. I mean, come
hate
on.
concurrent sentences.
Yeah, but 502 years.
I'm not saying she deserved that. I'm just
Far out.
Don't bullshit the world with your 500 years when you're only going to give her 20.
True.
Ridiculous.
So, as I said earlier, interestingly, Essilor, who produces the optical lenses for Ray-Ban, tried to sue JP Morgan for failing to pick up the fraudulent activity. At the time I read about it, Ray-Ban was still out of pocket for $100 million. So there you go. That's the Thai lady who was a CFO, massive fall from grace, and is now doing 20 years of jail.
Wow.
This next one comes from www.aarp.org. So this is about a con man who stole a woman's heart and $300,000. And here's how it happened. So this is by Doug Shaddle.
Did she get her heart back?
No. Doug Shaddle or Doug Shaddle and David Dudley. She wrote him first. A short message sent on a Thursday evening in early December 2013 under the subject line match ? You were listed as 100% match. I'm not sure what 100% match means. First, would you be interested in me? Check my profile. So this is a bird on a dating website, right?
And she's legit.
Yeah, she is.
But
yeah.
he's fake. Right.
Later, when she puzzled over their relationship, she'd remember this. She had contacted him, not the other way around.
Yes.
That had been a fateful move. It had made everything easier for him, but she didn't know that yet. So much of this was new. Amy, not her real name, we've changed the names to protect the innocent, had never done this online dating thing. It had been over 2 years since the death of her husband of 20 years, 4 since she had lost her mother. 2 sharp blows that had left her alone in her late 50s.
That makes sense because AARP is for like senior citizens.
Right, okay,
It's an
thank
interest
you.
group in the US focusing on issues affecting those over the age of 50.
Okay. She hadn't had a great marriage. Her husband had been abusive. He died quickly from cancer. After the funeral, a grief counsellor told her to make no sudden changes in her life for at least a year, and she'd done that. Now she was all by herself in a big house, at the end of a long driveway.
By
Myself.
Just drinking
That's
a bottle
right.
of wine.
She didn't feel isolated. She'd grown up there in a conservative pocket of Virginia. Her brothers and their families lived nearby. When it came to meeting new people, however, her choices were limited, as they are for people of an
Because
age,
she
right?
knew everyone. You know, it's like
yeah,
small town Virginia. We live near Albury, and people call it Smallbury because everyone knows everyone. That's why I'm saying that. Like, you know, if you want to meet someone new, you got to
go online.
You got to go to a different pond.
Yes. And her friends urged her to try online dating, an online pond, and she did. At first, she just, dabbled a bit with these many dating sites, window shopping in this peculiar new marketplace. The choices were overwhelming. It wasn't until the autumn,
Right.
that
I thought
Amy
she
was.
fell over.
It's American.
hip.
It's an
She
American.
did. Yeah, she broke both her arms, and she found herself not even being able
And
to
a hip.
text anymore.
Oh, look, the holidays were coming. She didn't want to be alone, so she thought, I'm going to have a crack. She signed up for a 6-month subscription to Match.com, the largest and one of the oldest dating services on the web. She filled out the questionnaire, carefully crafted her profile. And, she actually presented herself honestly, her age being 57, her hobbies being dancing and rock collecting, her financials, look, whatever. Her financial status was
And she got a 100%
self-sufficient.
match. That's suspicious.
Yeah, probably it was. She had a nice picture of herself, just all very real, recent. She wasn't scamming anyone.
Right.
Her pitch for herself was straightforward, looking for a life partner, successful, spiritually minded, intelligent, good sense of humour, enjoys dancing
And rock
and
collecting.
travelling. Enjoys dancing and travelling, no games. In those first weeks,
Oh,
yeah. She had a few messages and calls with men, even met some for coffee or lunch, but, they were all duds.
not the hot stuff like the rock collecting that she is.
She just
Yeah.
thought,
They
I'm
all
going to
is.
be, well, she didn't have to settle. So she thought,
No.
I'm going to be
Yeah, yeah.
picky.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get to men who are like a high match for me, 90% or more.
Amongst every dancer, there's a rock collector.
Yeah. And she didn't really understand how it worked. So about 100 years ago when she was in college, she'd studied computer science and psychology. But let's face it, she's 57 in 2013. Back in college is 30 years ago. Computers were a bit different.
Yeah. Using turtle logo or whatever.
Well, yeah. DOS. She had a website for her business, was on Facebook, had a smartphone, but, she didn't really understand how it all worked.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, exactly. She sees this guy. She says, does she even need to know how it works? Who cares? She sees this guy. He's got a mysterious profile name, Dark and Sugar Clue.
What?
Yeah, I thought you'd say that.
No, what?
Dark and Sugar Clue. I don't understand it myself. Anyway, 61-year-old silver fox.
Oh.
No.
Wearing
it's
a pair of-
Dark and sugar. What?
I don't understand it myself, right? So I can't answer you.
I'm going to Google it because what if it is a thing that we just don't know about?
Okay, go ahead. He liked bluegrass music and he lived only an hour away. And he was 100% match.
Yeah,
So-
that shocked me.
The computer had decided he was the one, and let's face it, computer algorithms must be followed, yeah? So anyway, about a week goes by, he doesn't respond, and then this message appeared when she logged onto her account. Hey, you. Okay, I'm not even reading from that moment on. When someone writes, hey, you, when you've given your name, rude. How are you doing today? Thank you so much for the email, and I'm really sorry for the delay in reply. I don't come on here often. Smiles. I really like your profile, and I don't even know why it says smiles anyway, and I like what I have gotten to know about you so far. I'd love to get to know you, as you sound like a very interesting person, plus you're beautiful. Tell me more about you. In fact, it would be my pleasure
Tell
if
me
you
everything.
wrote me at my email, as I hardly come
Oh,
on here
God.
often.
It's Nigerian scammer at yahoo.com.
Quite well written, though. He gave a Yahoo email address and a name as Dwayne, not Nigerian scammer at Yahoo. Some of the other men she'd met on Match had also quickly offered a personal email address, so she didn't really think there was anything weird about that. And she wrote back to the Yahoo address from her own account. Plus, when she went back to look at Dark and Sugar's profile, it had disappeared. Dark and Sugar Clues. It had disappeared. She writes, your profile is no longer there. Did you pull it? As
Did
I'm
you think I was so
recalling-
gorgeous that you thought that I would not?
No, I'm
look
done.
down? Yeah,
I'm done. 100%
I found
match.
her.
Da 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 da.
When you sign up to these sites, do you have to sort of go through a set of hoops where
You're asking
you-
me as an expert?
I don't know if you've done it. I don't know. I've never done it.
I have, so I can
I'm
answer.
sure you
but
would
it's
have,
from
yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah, but if,
I assumed you would have. How rude!
well,
It's all right, Swanee. Go ahead.
Everybody has after a certain point in time. Everybody has. I just
you have a
didn't
go,
get the cut.
yeah.
I didn't get the cut off, so I'm pre-cut off. So, do they forewarn you about these kind of things? Because to be perfectly honest, when you start talking about
transgendering?
No.
When you say you're pre-cut off,
Oh, I missed that. Sorry. Boom, boom.
2013. I'll tell you what. I was on eHarmony and I got matched with a person who, it turns out, lived like 3 blocks from me. And
pre-cut off,
it was post cut off, and who happened to see me wandering around the Woolworths in Many Ponds.
Oh.
Stalking?
Oh,
No, it wasn't stalking, but he.
Yes.
But it was coincidental anyway. So we actually had
wasn't
a date.
it though?
We had a date.
His name Prince Najima.
He
Yeah.
took me to the Essendon Football Club bistro because he had
Where?
a voucher.
Where?
Essendon
A voucher.
Football Club bistro because he had a voucher.
Go Bombers.
She's one of those. No, Essendon, but she said Essendon.
Essendon.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Thank
Welcome
you.
back.
I said Essendon. You're just not listening for it.
Okay.
Essendon Football Club
I love your
bistro
diction.
bought dinner because he had a voucher So if it was what,
It must have
Was
been-
it a shopper docket? Sounds like my mum. Was it a
one of
shopper
those.
docket?
Yep.
I've got a on the back of a shopper
Or
docket.
the what were those books called where you pull
The entertainment book.
out, where you pull out I got a 2-for-1 at the
Yeah.
Essendon
I had a
Football
girl-
Club.
I had a girlfriend who had that. She'd turn up at our house and go, "We've got to go here."
He spent his time telling me how he was a very successful person because he owned his own flat, which was, by the way, across the road from the Essendon Football Club. And then at about 9 o'clock...
Hang on. So that's why he was a very successful person? Because he
And
owned
then-
his own
that's right.
flat.
Yeah, and then he invited me back to his flat for a cup of tea.
Did you go?
I did, yeah. I don't know what possessed me. No, there was no sex. I had a cup of tea and I left, and that is not a euphemism.
Did you run?
Well, I didn't run because I didn't feel like I was threatened in any way, but there was certainly no chemistry. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I'm very with you on the no chemistry bit.
When I was there, he'd made me a fairly ordinary cup of tea. And then he said, I'm going to just get changed. And he came in with a pair of moccasins and a tracksuit pants on. And I thought, what is
He
my
could change
life?
out of his jeans.
Why are you
Yes, out
telling
of
this
his jeans.
story again?
And
I've
I
forgotten.
Because I'm trying to express that online dating,
It's not as glamorous as you think it is.
It's-
Swan.
no,
I'm just going to slip into something a little bit more comfortable.
It's tracksuit pants and moccasins. And shopper docket dinners.
to be fair, of the 3 or 4 online dates that I actually went on, that was the best. Right.
Whoa.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Anyway.
So is,
All
is,
right,
the, is the moral of the story that online dating very
Just
quickly
do
becomes
it in real life.
offline dating?
It's
Which
terrible.
is exactly what. So if you take the
It's
online,
disappointing.
like you could run into anyone at a coffee shop and go back to their house opposite Essendon or the unit, sorry, and they'd put their trackies and moccasins. Like I just feel like online dating very quickly becomes just normal dating, which none
On
of it
the
is
first
cool.
date?
Yeah, I know, right? That's how quickly.
No. What I think is that you should make the effort to meet people in person because you'll know very quickly if you're actually attracted to them
Correct.
or interested in them. The problem with online dating is that it's all bullshit that they've said
Correct.
about themselves and
Yeah.
you've said about yourself. You're all matched up.
You
You
say
have
that.
these meeting. You have these. I call it a meeting. You have this date, and like there was, I had one where I had to go the other side of town, and this guy clearly just wanted to have sex, and I didn't, not with him. And again, we had like a drink in a pub. We left, and he on the way to my car, he goes, "I'm just going to the bottle-o." He picks up a 6-pack, and I swear, from memory, he said something like,
Do you want
"Oh well,
anything?
Well, no, if we're not going on from here, I'm just going to get myself a 6-pack and go back to mine and have a wank." And I said something
Oh
along the
my
lines of,
God.
"Me too. Bye." It was awful. So I'm not a proponent of online dating. I know there are some people who've met their life matches. They're very happy.
Like
I believe that
High
is
Fortune and Chloe, like they're a good example of what goes right.
statistically a
Online
small
dating.
number. I think statistically a small number. Anyway, but I suppose you got to be in it to win it. Anyway, I digress on my dating stories. So anyway, she says, why did you get rid of your profile? I'm recalling the information you shared
And he
intrigued me.
says, because I found the love of my life.
I'd like to know more about you. Please email me with information about yourself and pictures so I can get to know you better. So Dwayne writes back a long message that says, and I don't know what this word means, sketched a peripatetic life. Anyone?
Pathetic.
Peripatetic. I meant to look it up before.
I thought you meant.
Anyway,
I thought you
doesn't
said very pathetic.
I think that's probably fair too.
Travelling from place to place, in particular working or based in various places for relatively short periods. I can't even say it.
Transient.
Peripatetic nature of a military life. Yeah.
Okay, cool. He described himself as a computer systems analyst from North Hollywood, California, who grew up in Manchester, England, and had lived in Virginia for only 5 months. But much of the note consisted of flirty jokes. If I could be bottled, I'd be called an odor enigma. And a detailed imaginary description of their first meeting. It's 11 a.m. when we arrive at the restaurant for brunch. The restaurant is a white painted weatherboard, simple but well kept, set on the edge of a lake, separated from it by an expansive deck, dotted, not packed, with tables and comfortable chairs. And we go there because I have a 2-for-1 voucher. Just kidding.
Oh, see.
Amy was charmed. Dwayne was nothing like the local men she'd met so far. That's probably because he's a Nigerian scammer. You certainly have a great sense of humour and a way with words, she responded. And she was full of questions about him and about online dating in general. It's kind of a strange way to meet people, she wrote, but it's not as cold as hanging around the produce department at the Kroger's. I don't know. I'd go to the produce department. She also mentioned the deception she'd already encountered on previous dates.
You wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, no
I know.
way.
You wouldn't believe it if I told you.
Lots of false advertising or bait and switch, folks, she wrote. It's amazing what people will do without
Bait and
conscience.
switch?
I don't know what it means.
Correct.
I think it's
Me
always
neither.
best to be whom we are. That's not how you use whom, but anyway, I think it's always best to be whom we are and not mislead others. So then there's a series of text messages, but I can't be bothered reading them. On the December the 17th, they'd exchanged 8 more emails. Dwayne suggested they both fill out questionnaires listing not only their favourite foods and hobbies, but also personality quirks and financial status. He also sent her a
What?
link to
Financial
a song.
status.
Yeah, he sent her a link.
What is the financial status? Can you help me with that?
Oh, I don't know, probably bank account details. He sent her a link to a song, pop star Mark Anthony's I Need You. It holds a message in it, he told her, a message that delivers the exact way I feel for you. She
anyone
clicks
know
on
that
the
song?
song. Yeah, it's a torrid ballad that ends with the singer begging his lover to marry him. Oh, so of course she listened to it again and again. When she talks about how she fell in love, she always mentions his voice. It was mesmerising, musical, clipped, flecked with an endearing Britishisms. His writing was like this too.
Nigerian.
Not just the British-style
Nigerian
spelling of words
Britishisms.
such
Yeah.
as colour and favourite, but the way he drops sweet. Now, this is quite, I mean, yes, but he's, the time, the work that goes into this. They exchanged numbers and then they talked every day. His teenage years in Manchester explained the accent, but there was another sound in there too, a wisp of something she couldn't place. Nigerian.
Africa. Yes.
Scammer.
Yeah.
They spoke about the things you talk about in a relationship, hopes, dreams, plans for the future. She opened up about her marriage,
Lions
her
on the
grief, her work.
plains.
She was just like majorly into him. At some point, almost casually, he explained that he wasn't calling from Virginia, but from Malaysia, where he was finishing up a computer job. Looking back, would things have been different if he'd said he was from Nigeria? Maybe. Amy knew all about those people who posed as bankers and gulled victims with awkwardly phrased business opportunities over spam email, but this was different. She loved to travel and knew lots of people from overseas. The fact that Dwayne was living in Malaysia added an exotic note to his ode enigma. He talked about visiting Bali and sent her a link to an old John Denver song, Shanghai Breezes, about two lovers separated by distance. Amy wrote to him 7 days after receiving the first message from Dwayne, "Funny how you sound as if you're right next door when you're really half a world away." They were on the phone for hours every day at this point. He was the first voice she heard in the morning and the last before bed. Typically, Amy would talk and text with him until about 11 a.m. when she had to go to work. Around 8 p.m., they'd talk again for an hour or two, then spend the rest of the evening texting or instant messaging into the night. In their emails, they filled pages with minutiae about their lives. So, it goes on and on and on. He just keeps building her up, of course, as we expect, with lots of conversations about one day we're going to be together, blah, blah, blah. She went to Florida for a trip. She told him all about it. When she came back, there was a bouquet of flowers waiting for her.
A bucket.
Nice.
A bucket of flowers saying, "My life will never be the same since I met you. Happy New Year. Love, Dwayne." So not long after that, slightly less than a month since the first contact, Dwayne brought up his money troubles. Here we go. He promised he'd fly home in January as soon as he finished this job in Kuala Lumpur, a $2.5 million project. But some components he purchased from Hong Kong were stuck in customs, of course. He didn't need money, he assured her. He had a hefty trust fund in the UK and was in fact planning to retire after finishing this job. But he couldn't use his funds to cover the customs fees, and he couldn't come back to Virginia until he finished the job. So he was stuck. If there's any way Amy could help him out, he'd pay her back when he returned to the States. So it starts small. She wires him for $8,000 to someone in Alabama. Well, yeah, when she works out how much she ends up spending, it's quite a lot. Then he asked for $10,000 to bribe immigration officials because of an expired visa. Eventually, he sets a date to come home and says, I'll be here on the 25th of January. Sorry, she buys tickets for their first real date, a Latin dance concert at a nearby city. But, another problem comes up. He has to pay his workers. Well, he'd been paying 2.5. So, that 2.5 million project, says he was paid that, right, for this project. He even emailed a scanned image of the check, bullshit, issued by a Chinese bank. He couldn't open a bank account in Malaysia to access the funds. I mean, isn't that terrible? Oh, for God's sake. Anyway, she had the money and Dwayne knew it, so she just kept sending it to him. She gives him $15,000. Then she gives him another, however much. So she gives him the money. He says, you'll get it back as soon as I come back, of course. Every time she started to doubt it, she'd look at his pictures or read his messages and sort of, she's still wondering about it, but little things seemed odd. Sometimes out of the blue, he'd fire off a series of rapid-fire instant messages. Oh, baby, I love you, and so forth. It felt like she was talking to someone else.
Oh, baby, I love when you give me money.
Yeah.
No way. Funny that.
Another time, she asked what he had for dinner.
That's my language of love, I think. Oh, sorry,
And
language. What's it called? Love language.
Love language. Give me money.
Yeah.
Another time she said, what did you have for dinner? And he said he had stir-fried chicken. And she said, but I thought you hated chicken. And he writes back, oh, Amy, you know me better than that. Send me a selfie right now, she insisted, because she's like, seriously, are you real? And then like almost instantly a photo comes through. There he was sitting on a bench in the sun.
With the date or something, yeah.
With stir-fried chicken or not?
No. But the point just being, she's thinking, is this someone else? And so he sends a photo of himself. So it's like, oh, okay. So all these little things happen. She's got doubts, but somehow they basically,
Is it the
scammers
first photo
are playing
she's
into
seen
it.
of him, or is it?
No. She's seen many photos
Yeah,
of
right.
him. Yeah.
Okay.
This is my favourite. How do I know you're not a Nigerian scammer? She once asked playfully. He laughs. Oh, Amy, you know me better than that, which was the same response to, I thought you hated stir-fried chicken. Yeah. So anyway, he says he'd be there on the February 28th. She planned to make dinner for him that first night. She buys all his favourite foods, salmon, sourdough bread, nice Merlot. Ooh, a nice Merlot.
Oh, I like that.
He had to fly to Beijing, Chicago, and finally to Virginia. He'd call as soon as he gets to Chicago. Last message he sends was from Kuala Lumpur. He says, I'll be home soon, my love. And of course, when the day comes, he doesn't show up.
No way.
Surprising.
Is he okay?
Well, it's funny you should say that because she didn't hear from him. She's terribly stressed. Eventually, he contacted her 3 days later. He sent a text, something about being held up by immigration at the airport in Kuala Lumpur and needing more money to bribe the officials. This is the third time he failed to show up, the third last-minute catastrophe, but she still sent him money.
Oh.
Amy's sister-in-law was the first to figure it out. Oh, God.
Wow,
You
she's
need to see
clever.
this, she told Amy. Sending her a link to a recent episode of the Dr. Phil show in which the TV therapist confronted two women who claimed to be engaged to men they'd met online. Amy watched in growing horror. And then here's the best bit. A few days later, Malaysia Airlines flight MH370, remember that?
Oh, no.
Disappears, right? And this was the same Beijing-bound route Dwayne had planned to be on earlier. As the story of the vanished airliner filled the airwaves, Amy couldn't help but worry that Dwayne had been on board. Maybe he'd managed to take a later flight, like she's stressed out. Eventually he calls her. But the call went to her landline, not the mobile phone. They spoke for a few minutes. She was happy, but also like something's not right. Something's different. He's not contacting her as much. He's not giving her all the attention that he was giving her. And now that she's got time to think because he's not bombarding her constantly with all these messages, all the things that make you go, hang on a minute, start to have a bit of airplay in her mind. So one by one, she started feeding the photos Dwayne had sent her into Google's image search, trying to trace where else they might have
watching
come
Catfish.
From. Eventually, up popped a LinkedIn page of a man with a name she'd never heard. Whoever Dwayne was, this wasn't him. She Googled romance scam and started reading. Even as she discovered the truth, part of her held out hope that her case was somehow different. She was the lucky one. But the spell was broken. It was like waking from a deep sleep, those strange moments when the dream dissolves and the real world comes rushing back. How much money had she wired this man? $300,000.
No.
Over the course of this
The Empress
scam.
says we'll have got access to all this money. Well, her, maybe not the other one's company money, poor darling. Ooh.
So, because there are so many of these stories, I could go on and on and on, and it's a bit depressing. So, I'm going to turn the tables on the scammers now, and I'm going to tell you the story of the woman who shut down a scammer in the most hilarious way.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Bring it on.
And I'm not sure where I got this from. It could be from Bored Panda. So, apologies if I've got the wrong
Bored
reference to this.
Panda.
It could be
Board
from the
Panda
Smithsonian, or it could be from.
I don't think, no, it's not. Sorry, I don't have my reference, but I'm pretty sure it's from something. But anyway, it's written by Ruta Graziette, whoever that is.
That's right. I don't think they'll even know who that is.
Yeah, correct. You're so multilingual. I'm impressed.
You've had
with
to
your
really do lots
ability.
of. You've had to do your, the American place names.
Is it
They're not tricky,
Russian?
some of those, eh? And then you've done your Thai
It's
stuff. Now
something
you're
Eastern
doing.
European.
She makes
Okay.
it sound Russian, but
It's
you know,
either
Yeah.
Russian or Croatian or
maybe
something
it should
like
just
that.
slow down and not be so Russian.
Could be
Don't go rushing into
Hungarian.
anything.
Could be Hungarian.
Correct.
Ruta Graziette. I don't know. Anyway, so she tells this good story about an anonymous woman who was addressed by a Facebook scammer trying to earn some easy money. Turns out he messed with the wrong lady. And I did find this funny. So the Nigerian scam master, who goes by the name of Stephen Muzumbo, messaged the woman on Facebook and started flirting with her. Like many fraudsters, he started declaring his love to her and eventually asked for money, etc. What I'm going to read out for you is the exchange on Facebook between the two of them. Facebook Messenger.
Game on, Mole.
Hello, sweet lady. Look, son, chill out on the flirting, okay? I'm not that kind of girl. What do you want anyway? Hello, I Stephen. I come in Nigeria and work in church. I am religious pastor. Oh, I could kill a pastor. Are you a Cornish pastor or a cheese and onion? No, don't kill me or that. I meant be friends. Ah, I do like to make new friends, especially strangers from Africa. You all seem so genuine and sincere. Yes, thank you. Are you married, sweet lady? No, my husband left me for the woman in Asda who wanders about holding the space here sign and forcing people into queues. Oh, sorry for that, sweet lady. Maybe you meet another man to hold you heart. I like you, sweet lady. You do? Yeah, a lot. Can you be my princessy? I name you princess. The spelling's terrible, right?
Yeah.
Actually, Steve, I have another name I like to be called by men. Which name? Oh, sorry, he wrote which came and then name. Well, my last hubby called me Barbara O'Cumbungle. Will you call me that, please, Stevie? Yes. Say it then. Yes, Barbara. The full name, man. Okay, Barbara O'Cumbungle. No, man, it's O'Cumbungle. Say it right. Yeah, my Barbara O'Cumbungle. Stevie boy, that's hot. Yeah, sexy hot. I want to be with you somehow. How can we do that? I yearn to be held in your arms, Stevie. Where are you from? Killingworth, not the rough part, mind. I'm not a councilite. I didn't understand that. What nation is it? Britain, you sexy little man. Okay, to be together, maybe I come in you to get to Britain.
I beg pardon.
She writes back, come in me. How dare you? How dare you, you filthy little urchin. What is wrong? I want to come to Britain with you and live. Who do you want to live with? You. No. Say the name I told you to say. I come to live with Barbara O'Cumbungles. Erotic. What do we need to do to make this happen? I spend my money on fixing church here. I may need money for flights and visas and other things. Well, slap my body with a marrow. I'm astonished that the conversation has turned to money.
She's great.
Money is needed to buy things. Thanks for that.
No shit, Sherlock.
Is needed for me to come to you. Can you maybe help?
Barbara O'Cumbungle.
It just so happens that I'm very wealthy after I won the jackpot on the fruit machine at the Working Men's Club.
The fruit machine. She's way ahead of him in
Yeah.
scamming terms.
Yeah.
How much do you need, my love? For all I need $900 to be with Barbara O'Cumbungles. I don't know why he's put an S at the end of it, but anyway. Okay, Stevie, I can do that, but first we must establish trust. Okay, then how? Do you love me, dear? Yes, a lot. Good. We shall now start to trust each other. I like your little moustache. So, instead of Stevie, you shall now be known as Wee Moustache. You shall refer to yourself as that and only call me Barbara O'Cumbungle. Is that understood? I understand. Can you send the money so I can come to you? Send now so I can get a flights. Slow down, slow down. Tell me you love me, but use our names. Wee Moustaches loves Barbara O'Cumbungle. Oh my, Barbara O'Cumbungle loves Wee Moustache too. I need you to do something for me before I send the money. What can I do? Use your name. What can Wee Moustache do? Well, I have a sex fetish for black men standing in my garden naked whilst wrapping the hits of vanilla ice and holding a helium balloon. I don't understand. What is that? Use your name at all times. Wee Moustache. I want you to stand in my garden and rap whilst holding a balloon. Say you will do it and say our names. Will you send money so we can be together? Patience, Wee Moustache, patience. This sounds like Joe Lycett, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Say what I have asked you to say, be sexy about it, and say our names. Wee Moustache will stand in the garden and rap for Barbara O'Cumbungles and hold a balloon really sexy for her. Wee Moustaches holds the balloon and is naked. Oh, yes, yes, give me more. Wee Moustache will rap for Barbara O'Cumbungles and will wave balloon in the gardens. Can you please send money to me now so I can come to you? Oh, Wee Moustache, you're really arousing me now. It's nice. Please send money to Western Union account. Go now and I give account. Wait. You need to prove your love a bit more. I am not for playing games, Barbara O'Cumbungle. Please see me to be true and
I'm
love
not
you.
for playing games, Barbara O'Cumbungle. I'm not for playing games whilst I play games.
Barbara says, I know you love me, but I just need to be 100% sure, okay? Then I'll send the money. Fine, tell me what you need. Full names, please. You know the rules. Tell Wee Moustache what Barbara O'Cumbungle wants. Will you flick my bean whilst throwing leaves at me? What? I don't understand what that is.
I'm with him on that.
You don't need to understand. Just agree to it and the money is yours. Say what you'll do and don't forget our names, you saucy little scamp. You crazy girl. If you want the money so we can be together, then you must say it. Wee Moustache will flick the bean on Barbara O'Cumbungle and throw leaves on her. Yes, harder, throw more leaves on me. Wee Moustache to throw more leaves on Barbara Cumbingle and hold balloon. Please go to Western Union and send money now, okay? Oh, wow, that was phenomenal, Wee Moustache. I love you. Can you send me money online or go to Western Union store for me, please, so I fly to you and be there with you? Oh, okay. Right, what do I need to do for you? You need to go to Western Union and pit money to my brother account. His name Daniel Ibrahim, City Lagos. Tell me when they ask for account. Are you certain this is genuine? I feel like I may be being conned by your suave moves. The sexual chemistry between us may be distracting me. No, it real. Please send money to your Wee Moustache and he come to Barbara O'Cumbungle and be together forever. Just please send the money so we can do it. Even just $300. Do you promise this conversation will not be screenshotted and posted online? What? Yes. Okay, I trust you now. Okay, go to Western Union and send my money to this sweet lady. Then there's a missed call from Stephen because he's now starting to harass her. And she writes back, I can't answer. I'm putting my brassiere on. Okay, I wait. Wee Moustache, I am at the Western Union shop and the woman is being mean to me. She says your brother doesn't have an account. He says it's not possible. Tell them again. Do you have the right name for my brother? He tries to call her again. She then sends him a photo that she has created with like a toy, probably a fire station, and a little naked Cupid doll with a sign on the fire station that says Western Union Shop, and over the top of the Cupid doll, there's a little sign that says, "Ain't no Davy Ibrahim here, bitch." And she says, "Look, the woman is being so cruel to me." And he says, "Are you serious? What's this shit about? Hey, what game is it you playing?" She goes, "Oh, I get it now. It just dawned on me. You're a scamming little turd, aren't you? A scheming, devious parasite. That's what you are, isn't it?" He goes, "What? I'm a pastor, a man of God. Don't call me those things. Go away, you nasty little scruff. I've had enough of you, you feral mongrel." He writes back, "Fuck you. I report you to Facebook. Fuck you." She goes, "Calm down, little man. Your wee moustache will fall off if you don't simmer down a bit. All right, love? Fuck you, no. Leave me alone. Hello, are you there?" And that's the end of the exchange.
Brilliant.
She's great. Lead him on. Fuck, I love it.
I thought that was a classic. So there you go. They are. We can talk about scammers now if you like, but that is my little segue into assholes.
Yeah,
Basically.
Barbara Cumbungle's the winner of those three.
Brilliant.
Barbara
Sure.
Cumbungle, she's the best. Yes, yes. Thoughts?
When we talk about scammers, the lady in the middle, I feel, is a victim of scamming. The first lady, Chamalama Lama Lama Hudi Wap De Wap, is just a thief.
You think so?
100%, I think so.
I think she should have. She would have known that what she was doing was totally illegal. But I think
Well, she did know. And yes, she's a thief because someone else has coerced her to do that. But she's a thief. The second lady is an absolute
Corporate
victim.
crime. Yeah.
100% it is. Like, just because you have access to money doesn't mean you should be able to spend it as your
Correct.
own.
so.
I
If
don't-
she spent $250 million of her own, you'd call her a victim. But because she took it from her employer,
100%. 100%. Absolutely right, yes. Because she's stealing money. So she's going, this may or may not be right, but I'm going to steal money from the place that I work for
yeah.
so that I can continue to live this fantasy. Therefore, the pain for me is much less. So this scam can go on for a whole lot longer because who cares? It's not my money I'm spending. I'm just blowing someone else's money.
She did spend some of her own money though.
Yeah, she's a mole.
She put the deposit on the house.
Nah,
She got-
she's a mole. I've got no time for her. And I get that she's been scammed, but she has absolutely stolen money to allow that to happen.
No, the shift was made when she started taking money from
someone else.
the
Yeah,
company.
yeah.
And the amount of deposit, there were what was it, 250 odd transactions? No, the amount, 200 transactions, 250 million. She couldn't have been that clearly. She wouldn't have been out of CFO, even if you were, no, I don't buy that either.
When you're being gullible, as victim number 2 was,
Yes.
and I say that with respect, she started to go, hang on a minute,
Yeah.
I'm giving too much money to someone of my own, and this doesn't ring true. Victim number 1 is
giving someone else's money away.
squillions of other people to fund her
And
delusion
got caught.
because she's not going, this is my money, I better pull
Apart
back,
from
I
the
better
money
act
that she put on the
responsibly.
deposit of the
blah
luxury
blah.
house. Yeah.
But that's the bit that happened. You know, there's so much that she gave outside of
But
that.
he'd had a heart attack. She had to do something.
CPR.
She's spending other people's money on her delusions.
I know.
She's
To
a
Swanee's
thief.
point, it's white collar crime. It's fraud.
She's a thief.
They must have absolutely hit the jackpot with her in terms of the amount of money she had access to. I've never heard of something in that league because normal people don't have access to that kind of money. Even like for me, when I hear things like $300,000 is a hell of a lot of money
I
for someone to
couldn't
have
afford that.
access to. Precisely. And then
That's what they do.
I
If you're
am not a
scammer,
scammer's dream, right? If you
No, you
access
need to
my
have
bank
cash.
accounts, you'd be like, move on. She's got nothing.
Yeah.
precisely.
She's
But
not-
I look at those sometimes and go, God, why do they even bother? But it's not me they bother for. And I'm not
Exactly.
saying that I will never fall victim of a scam, and I'm not judging people who do.
No,
But I'm saying
no.
that when they do hit the jackpot, it justifies all of the rejection they get.
Correct.
Oh, it's a numbers game. Totally a
And for
numbers
her-
game.
Correct.
That
And you get
channel.
the right person at the wrong time,
Yep.
and that's victim number 2.
So Nigerians aren't the only ones doing this, obviously. It's all across the world, but there's a $10 billion industry of it out of India at the moment. So not just at the moment, but there are tons of scams, and I'm sure I've received so many. I've received the hi mum. I've received hi, it's mum. I'm at the supermarket, and I'm like, that's hilarious. I showed mum and said, see this? They got the wrong person because my mum never leaves the house and she can't remember her PIN anyway.
I've got hi mum. I'm at the supermarket.
Have you?
I
Me
want
too.
money. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? I'm not mum. I don't have
But I've
kids.
had one that hi, it's mum. I've had one suggesting it was my mother
Yeah.
trying to hit me up. Well, the funny thing is, I tried to reply to one of
Yeah,
these.
you
the other
can't
day, and
reply.
there's no reply enabled on them. You can't reply because I wrote, "Oh, good, nice try." It didn't work.
Sorry, which one could you not reply to, Schmidty? A text or an email?
Any of
I think
them.
it was a text message said,
Yeah.
"Hi, it's mum."
And why couldn't you respond?
Well, I replied,
Undeliverable,
and it
something.
came back and said,
Yeah.
"Not
Oh,
Yeah.
right. I didn't know
undeliverable."
that.
Yeah, it
How would
wouldn't
that work
accept it,
then?
so-
They
Well,
needed
because
to
it's
call
not an
it.
Australian number usually.
They come from a computer.
Yeah.
They come from a
Yeah.
computer with an alias, and the computer SMS system can be set to.
But I think also
receive
the
replies,
number
so
isn't a
simple as that.
Telstra phone number or
So
or an
how would they get
Australian
anything
phone
out of you
number.
then? How would they get anything out of you?
You've got to give them your bank details.
Oh, if there's a link, maybe.
Open the
I get
link.
that. I see.
Yeah.
Mine always have links. I had a call yesterday. I think it was saying I didn't recognise the mobile number. I answered. I was like, "Hello," and it was like a recording. I was like, "Hello, this is the Australian government. We have
Yeah.
no what." It
Tax
wasn't
office?
the tax office.
You're going to
but it
go to
was like,
jail?
we have some
Yeah.
information about you. For English, press 1. For Chinese, press 2. And I was like, what? Just hung up. And I was like, what information do you have about me? I'd like to know.
I don't even answer anything. The problem is, my personal phone is also used for work, and people I'm sure are going to complain that I never answer the phone. It's because
Yeah.
any number
I
that's
don't
not
answer.
stored in my phone,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just
I'm not
assume
aware.
is a scammer.
This is
I
my
get
modern
so
day
many
work
of
issue
these,
where
yeah.
people ring me from a phone that I've never heard of. They don't
Yeah.
leave a message. And then
Yeah.
like 3 weeks later, they ring
Yeah.
me and they're angry and they say,
They bitch
why didn't
about
you
it.
return my calls? I'm like, what are you talking about?
You didn't leave a message, you
Yeah,
dickhead.
if you're
Leave a
ringing me
message.
for the first time, leave a message. If you ring me all the time, don't leave a message. I'll ring you back. So someone I know in the lead up to Christmas got I think it was a text message from her work saying that we can't give everyone their bonuses. So can you please go and get, I don't know, $6,000 worth of credit worth of vouchers? Can you buy $6,000 worth of vouchers so that we
The
can give
voucher
them
thing.
all a voucher? So she did, out of her own personal money, like spent $6,000 so that
God.
everyone at the office could have a bonus for Christmas. And then she went into work and said, I've done this,
Oh,
blah, blah. And they
no.
went, what are you talking about?
Oh,
And so,
no.
you know.
Yeah,
And
it's so easy. Yeah,
what I was going to say is that I think that whilst you can talk about any scam in isolation and go, God, I would never fall for that, it's about your mindset at the time.
it's unbelievable.
And so I could
Correct.
absolutely see sometimes I'm just so focused on getting things done that I don't give a lot of thought to stuff. It's like, what do I need to do to make this happen? Because I've got, 100 things that I've got to do in the next hour. Bang, 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 bang. And if someone sent me a scam at that point, I would be vulnerable. I'm not saying I would fall for it, but I would definitely be vulnerable.
No,
And I
me,
can see how
Yeah.
that plays out with people because,
I'll leave you with one more before we close out. I don't think I've talked about it before. One day at work,
Is
I
it the
didn't get
vomit and
paid.
poo story at the bus station?
No. I just didn't get paid. I didn't get paid, right?
Okay.
And I thought, that's weird. And I left it a day or so. And I thought, no, I still haven't got paid. And I must have needed the money because otherwise, why am I chasing it? So I contacted payroll and said, hey, I haven't been paid. Is there an issue? And then I got a call from the payroll girl. She was devastated. And she said, oh, you've been scammed. I said, how have I been scammed?
Yeah. No,
I haven't
you've
done
been
anything.
scammed.
Yeah, what had happened was she'd been contacted by someone pretending to be me. And like I saw the emails later, and it's the same thing. It's like if you spent the
she'd
time
been
just
scammed by the sound of it. Is that what she
Yeah,
said?
she had
correct.
unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
But what had happened was they had pretended to be me, and they said, I'm out of the country. I can't access, because she said, go on the system and change your bank account details yourself. oh, I can't access them. So she did it. She changed the bank account details to be this other thing, the scammer's bank account details. It was actually the bank's anti-fraud system that picked this up.
I don't know how you fell for that, Schmidty.
I know. It sounds like you were clueless to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't know what was going on.
Absolutely.
But I did laugh that she said, you've been
Yeah,
scammed. And no disrespect to her, because when she was asked, not only her, but her then line manager also approved it.
Wow.
Because it was me.
Because they trust you.
Yes.
Yeah. And they said, well, it was Caroline. We did it for Caroline. And I was like, no, you did it for a scammer, but that's exactly what they're hoping for. That they're going to go, oh, I'll just help a mate out, kind of thing. So, yes, it's a billion dollar business. It's bad. My advice is, if you find yourself in a situation where anytime someone says go and get a voucher or a prepaid credit card or a
Don't
Google
do
thing,
it.
Or click on this
is a
link.
scam.
It's
a scam.
Do it.
To know.
That's right. Any organisation that sends you something, like I get lots of linked ones, the tolls.
Yes, same here.
Anything who sends you a text message with a link saying click here, go onto your actual account online yourself, log in through your credentials and check whether that's real.
Yeah.
You cannot believe anything that you receive in this day and age. And if in doubt, call your bank.
Do not open the link.
Don't open the links, but
Don't
call
touch
your
the
bank.
link. Yeah.
In my experience, banks have been really good about this. So call the bank, tell them immediately. So there you go. That was my little no murder story
Well
about
done.
toxic love in the world of romance scamming and just scamming.
Wow.
And white collar crime as well.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Thank you very much for coming on the journey, and miss you already.
Well played, darling. Loved it.
Well done.
Lovely. Ta-ta.
Sharon, well done.
Ciao,
Bye.
Ciao, Bella.
Thanks for listening to Trial by Wine. You can contact us at trialbywine@gmail.com. Please rate, review and subscribe to Trial by Wine on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you'd like to support us, you can become a patron at www.patreon.com, Trial by Wine, or visit our website www.trialbywine.com to donate to us. Your support will help us cover many more cases and apply wacky sentences. We really appreciate you listening and hope you tell everyone about us. Our cover art is by John Christo and music is by Beauchamp from pixabay.com.